My name is Alex Weinert. I am the group program manager for the Microsoft Identity and Security protection team. So we're the team that's charged with basically keeping bad guys out of your account. So if you're an Active Directory, Azure Active Directory, Microsoft account, Skype, Hotmail, Office 365, whatever it is, our team is kind of on point to try to make sure that when you log in, it's actually you and not somebody who really wants to be you. And then I'm joined by my friend Yanon.
Hi guys, I'm Inon Kostika. I'm the Director of Program Management for the Cloud Security Group in Microsoft. This is a group that has 3 products, Azure ATP, Cloud App Security, that will be discussed both in this session, and also Azure-Security Azure-Security Center that is discussed in the other room. So these are the 3 products.
Right, so on my team, the things you might use, and I'd love to just kind of get a poll here so we know who we're talking to and we can level set. So my team is responsible for conditional access. Anybody using Azure AD conditional access? Oh, yeah. Oh, that makes me so happy. Multi-factor authentication in Azure AD? Even better, all right. And then identity protection, so the threat signals. Yeah, okay, cool. So lots of people with some familiarity. All right, and then?
Cloud App Security. Who's using Cloud App Security? Okay. Azure ATP. And ATA? Okay.
All right, cool. All right, so now here's a great question. Who's using both Azure Active Directory Identity Protection and, say, ATP or ATA together? All right, good. I think you will particularly like this. Okay, so by way of history, we've been really focused on trying to get value to market, and Yonon's team has done a bunch of great work, and our team has been working hard too. Unfortunately, the bad guys don't really respect which products you're looking at a given moment, and they kind of travel back and forth. And so we've done some work to try to make this more comprehensive, and we'd like to introduce you to that now, and importantly, I think, frame the problem a little bit. This is the mandatory marketing slide that says it's scary out there. Do you believe it? It's scary, right? Okay. So we can kind of go over that, but it is the case that we're seeing about a 300% increase year over year right now over the attack volumes we saw last year. So things are ramping up, and our friends in nation-state attack type things are making it more entertaining. So there is the reason to stay on your toes, but I don't think anyone in this room needs a ton of convincing on that. The thing I want to talk to you about first is kind of the framework we're thinking about. And so, as we go back and we think about, how in Microsoft 365 do we want to structure the product, structure the conversation, and all the demos you saw, like in the keynotes, the security keynotes, all kind of derived from this, is that there are a set of assets that are important to think about securing in your environment, right? And of course, as identity people, we tend to bias towards saying, of course, identity is one of the first and most key assets that you're going to focus on, and we'll talk mostly about that today. But there are other key assets. Like, what are the devices that those users are using, right? Are there any Intune people in the room? Intune users? Cool, awesome. The other thing to think about is, what apps and data are these people getting to? So, like, if we think about data classification and encryption, how does that data stay secure once it's in transit, once it's getting mailed around? The applications themselves have to be secured. So in a lot of organizations, the person that, for example, administers Exchange and sets those settings is not the same person that worries about provisioning of apps, right? And then, of course, infrastructure, when we think about either running VMs in Azure or deploying infrastructure on-prem or worrying about network configuration, that's another kind of job. And so across each of these things, there are specialists, right? There's specialists in your organization. There's specialists in our organization, right? So we have people that are very, very focused on, for example, detecting threats. Actually, this gentleman right here, detecting threats in the Azure environment and making those visible to you in a way that you can take action on that as the administrator for that infrastructure, right? In the identity space, AADIP was born out of the same kind of model, which is that for our identity administrators, we need to be the very best at detecting threats, and then we need to make sure that they're available to you to work through, right? When we look at this, this kind of model of these 5 pillar resources that we're worried about, while each of those resources is very different and is administered in a different way, and you want different kinds of expertise on that, The fact is that as an administrator, you have common tasks across them, right? And so you think about, every one of these people has to figure out, okay, how do I configure this thing in a secure way? There was a brief discussion, which was there will be security administrators, and they will take care of the security for Exchange. I would posit, or for whichever, infrastructure or identity. I would posit that if you're an identity administrator and you're deploying identity without thinking about security, you're pretty, not long lived in your job. Right? Every one of these administrators, every one of these people are focused on making sure they do their job in the right way, which includes deploying it in a secure way. So there's going to be some verticalness in these stacks, right? But the tasks are similar. So monitoring, understanding how you're hitting your user base, providing insights to your management about what needs to happen, understanding how the impact on the business goes. All of that is common across each of these resource types. And then there's another thing that's common, which is occasionally you'll be the one who notices trouble. And that's when we shift from sort of this vertical model to more of a horizontal model. Because once we hand off to SecOps, again, we have to realize that the bad guys don't respect the boundaries. And so we better listen to Yanon.
Exactly. So when we're looking at these silos that we talked about, so we have dedicated teams to actually manage identity, manage apps. Attackers obviously are using everything end-to-end. They would use whatever they can in order to achieve their targets. And this is why as SecOps, when you're going to investigate an attack that happened, you want to have full visibility end-to-end across all of these resources. And this is where these silos actually need to break. And this is where you want to have a single pane of glass to see all of the different forensics that are there as much as possible in order to understand the breadth and the depth of the attack. And also you want to provision all of them to the same security tooling that you are using. So your SIEMs, the response mechanisms, etc. And you want to have one layer in order to understand what are the recommendations you will be making to these teams that administer your resources in order to improve the security posture and mitigate the specific threat or attack that you have identified. So as SecOps, you need to see, you completely look at it in an inverse matrix when you're looking at the attack level and you want to see end-to-end view across all of these resources. And this is, again, when you go back to the administrative teams and you want to give them hand over recommendations. And this is where it all fits together. Alex? Yeah.
All right. So, so again, we have the administrator-centric lens on this problem. And as an administrator in identity, you're going to be thinking a lot about, sort of health policy, right? This is especially when you get to the scale of a very large organization. For example, Microsoft, it's really not a question of nobody will ever get phished, right? We have to think of it as how do we minimize that problem? How do we minimize the exposure to it at a configuration level? And then how do we enhance the way that we do the investigation? So that's kind of how these two things play together. And I guess I would love to hear from you, as we sort of charge down this path. Does this sort of make sense to, in terms of what we're saying, that we want to be able to do a clean handoff into SecOps, but that's not necessarily the same role. The person, for example, an identity administrator is not the same person doing the investigation in all cases. Does that kind of make sense, what we're talking about? All right, so as we go forward from here, it is, and we can have a little bit of fun now. In that framework, Yanon and I, essentially, we look at sort of different lenses, right, in terms of what we see. Because Yanon's team does a lot of things around monitoring the application session, and we'll talk to this model a little bit more later, and monitoring on-premises, like what's happening around the domain controllers. Whereas my team is primarily looking at the logins that are in the cloud, right? And so it's kind of useful at some level to understand the kinds of attacks you're seeing and the MO of your attackers as we go into this model. So we'll have a little bit of fun talking about some scary stories.
Okay, so this is where we are looking at the news, and every other week we hear about another company that was compromised by an attacker. Sensitive data was leaked, and then, of course, it has a large impact on the business. We won't get into the numbers and the millions of dollars we actually lose to that, but it's obvious that we want to avoid that as much as possible. And this is where Microsoft, in many cases, is being called as part of the incident response team to the customers in order to learn what happened, how to recover, how to respond, and then next, how to better set up the environment in order to avoid this case in the future. So I want to start with giving you like the typical, really the typical advanced attack that we're seeing, the timeline that we're seeing. And there are some key observations that I wanted to share before we deep dive and take like the attacker perspective for a second. So first, and this is what Alex will show you, and every time again it surprises me how easy it is like to get the first hold of the network, or in the network. So the first hold, the first account that is compromised, and this is done by a very shallow research that you can do. You can do it on every company yourselves. Just go and figure out a few email accounts that are out there, the email accounts that are registered on your domains, everything that is out there. These are the first actually accounts that you can target as an attacker. Once you get, and Alex will show you how it's actually done by attackers, once you get one account like that, the statistics say that it takes 1 to 2 days to achieve domain dominance over your network. This is, if you understand what this means, obviously this is insane. It means that from any account out there, on average, it takes 2 days to gain domain dominance. The attacker can access any resource. And the other number that is insane is that on average it takes a little bit more than 100 days before we actually discover this type of attacks once they happen. So this is the attack timeline. Some observations on this that are common misconceptions. Attackers are super sophisticated, not because they're super smart, etc., just because the tools are available for them out there. So there are many tools that are available. You can download them, you can use them for pen testing, for attacking, and you can get the best techniques out there very quickly and actually employ them in your attack campaign. This is one thing that is important to understand. The second thing is that although in most cases, what we see is the data that is being stolen and leaked. The targets, in most cases, I mean, the route there is going through Active Directory and identities. Okay, so you are taking identities and you use them in order to move from one place to the other until you get to the data that you need. And this is super important to understand when protecting against this type of attacks. Third, assume breach. You probably, from the attack timeline, you understand why. Even if it was compromised, you still have a long period of time where the attacker is active, and you want to have defense in-depth techniques that will identify as soon as the attacker does something that you can identify, and we will see a bunch of examples for how we actually do that and provide you tools to identify that after the account was compromised, to identify as early on in the attack stage. And lastly, the response and recovery. This is a complex part. It takes a lot of resources to understand exactly who were impacted by the attack and how to recover from it. And we'll see how we can help with that as well. So taking the attacker's head for a second, just to give you how it looks like from an attacker perspective. We all know that many campaigns are starting with actually phishing, with email. Okay, that's a primary way to actually start the campaign. But Alex will show you how you can actually start with brute forcing and trying to access an account without any email, without any engagement with the users themselves. So that's the first phase in order to get a compromised account. Once I have a compromised account, I will try to establish persistence on that specific account, and then I will do two things. First, I will use whatever is accessible to me as that user in order to collect information, reconnaissance, and configuration data so I can then proceed with the attacks. And then what I will do, I will try to move laterally in the organization, so to other users, to other locations, to other servers. I will use any other I will get any other identity I can use in order to get, in the end, to higher privileges that will allow me to get to the target of my attack, so to the sensitive data, and then leak it, exfiltrate it, and achieve my goals. But before I go and leak this sensitive data, one thing we see attackers do, and is very important to understand, they go and they compromise the domain as a whole. They establish what we call domain dominance, so they can persist in your network even if they lost this account or this account that was compromised. By compromising the domain, they can continue and prevail in your network, accessing any resource, so they can persist and regain access again and again, even if you remediate only one account that they hacked. So this is very important to understand. We have 3 products that we'll cover in this session that help you counter these attacks. Azure AD, Identity Protection, Azure ATP, and Cloud App Security.
All right. I wanted to spend a moment talking about those three products and sort of the lens that we have on this. If you're using more than one of these, I expect that your hand would go up if you use more than one of these and you said, gee, I wish, I understood why, for example, things will trigger in one but not in the other, why risk shows up in one place but not in the other. And to some extent, that's what this session is really about, is the work that we've been doing to share our signals with each other and make sure they show up for you. But I do want to make sure that you understand the sort of unique value of each of these things. And the key thing here is that you can think of this like if you have a home security system, like where you have motion sensors is what you can see, right? The more sensors you have, the more threats you can detect and react to, right? So in the case of Azure Active Directory, where that code is running, right, where things are happening is in our login server, right? We do risk assessments either in the login server or based on the logs that were generated from it. Now, there's a ton we can learn about that, right? We can say that a user is coming from a place we've never seen them before, or we can say they're coming in as part of an attack, because we can see, and I'll show you in a minute how we can see, because of the scale we operate at, we can see attacks that are not detectable at an individual organization's viewpoint, but that we can see them when we see them globally, right? But that is the information that we're looking at. We're looking at the login information, almost exclusively, right? That's the key thing. When we look at Azure ATP, right, we're now into your network, your on-prem network. And we're looking at the traffic around the domain. What's the user's behavior on the network? What machines are they going to? What's the login pattern? Are we seeing users pop up in places they've never popped up before in the network? And in both cases, there's a bunch of ML, machine learning that's going on to try to help understand what's normal in the environment and then to signal on anomalies. Because really, at the end of the day, because attackers' MOs change very fast, anomalies are the thing, right? That's what we're looking for, is anything strange. But it's a very different signal source, right? So if you have Azure Active Directory and you're seeing a bunch of signal over here and you don't have ATP, there is signal you're missing in your on-premises environment. Because if an attacker penetrates your VPN or gets residence on your network in the way that Yanan was talking about, it's party time, right? They get to go and have a good time. By the way, I'm going to insert a thing. That 24 to 48 hours to domain dominance, right? The other thing that's an interesting stat is, on average, it's about 15 minutes from account compromise to utilization. So what you're looking at is from the time that your user's account has been broken to the time your domain is compromised is essentially 48 hours plus 15 minutes. Now, the reason I'm going to point that out is later I'm going to be talking about passwords and why they're so easy to break. And part of the reason they're so easy to break is expiration rules. And I just want to encourage you to rethink the value of an expiration rule, because what they do is they create a very predictable password pattern, but they have zero value in terms of security, unless you're expiring passwords every 5 minutes, in which case, good luck with the usability on that. So in general, expiration rules have no value. I'd be happy, seriously, to talk to anyone who is a skeptic on this one, and we have some research papers we can point you to and such. Okay, so the third thing that, if you look at the basics of how the Kerberos pattern works, how basically all of our authentication patterns work, is that, as Pam actually talked about in her talk on standards yesterday, is we want to get to a place where we're not passing the credentials to every single app, that what we're passing is a ticket from somebody who handles the credentials for you. That's the IDP. That's our job as Azure Active Directory. What we pass that ticket to the client to then hand to the service. It's like a carnival ticket, right? You can walk up to the ride and you can say, okay, I have this thing, right? You don't actually go back to the IDP on every visit. You go from the client to the service carrying a ticket, right? That's important here because that means that the threat signaling that we have goes away, right, on Azure Active Directory side after we've issued that ticket. The next hour, it's entirely between whatever service you're going to and your client, and that traffic is passing back and forth. There are cases where you want to have a level of security that's high enough that you can actually see what's happening in that session. So for example, somebody starts downloading a ton of data they've never done before, right? Or they start passing, PII, user PII around, right? These are things that you want to be able to get in the way of and start thinking about, okay, is this actually a safe pattern? And the other thing that happens in there is that there are threat types that show up in that behavior. For example, one thing attackers love to do is they'll get into Exchange, and the first thing they do is it's part of establishing permanence, right, is they set a forwarding rule, right? They want to, if I'm trying to get your data, one of the cool things I can do is set a forwarding rule in your account. You go and change your password, fine, I'm still getting your mail, right? So that's a kind of an attack signal that we can pick up if we're in the session. And so that's the third thing, which is Microsoft Cloud App Security allows you to get into that pipe. So you have three signal sources, right? You have the login traffic, you have the traffic around the domain controllers on-prem, which can include login traffic for Active Directory, and then you have the actual session pipe, right? So those are the three signal sources we're primarily talking about today. So moving on to the sort of the first one, right? We can look at what are our top attacks against Azure Active Directory. There's a commonality in all three of these attacks. What's common in all of the attacks? Passwords. Somebody was brave enough to whisper it at me. Okay, so, right, so the password is the common vein here. And, you know, we are doing a ton of work, as you've heard about at this conference, hopefully, to eliminate the need for passwords as a primary gesture for sign-in. And the reason here is because, you know, of this. It's the fact that the password is just the vector that we've been practicing our attacks against for 20 years, right, 30 years. Right, I was, quite seriously, when I was 8 years old, I was breaking passwords for fun. You know, so I've started on the other side of this equation. Sort of switched teams. But the thing is that, you know, that they were easy to break then, they're easier to break now because patterns are evolving. One of the very interesting and cool things about our adversaries is they're sort of, you know, they're data scientists too, right? They're building histograms. When somebody breaks the Yahoo database, for example, from that breach, they're going to go through and look at what are the statistically most common passwords that people use, right? We can look at social science and say, all right, what happens if I give you these rules? A good example is if I were to say it in this room right now, everybody think of a word, I'd get a pretty good diverse set of words, right? If I say, now think of a sports team, I get a less diverse set. If I think of a sports team that was a championship team in 2017, I get less diverse. And it keeps on contracting down. I will still get some diversity of passwords, but it gets easier and easier to guess. The more rules you're applying, the easier you make it, right? But users are fairly predictable. Another way they're predictable is they like to reuse passwords, right? So we'll talk about each of these in a minute. The volumes are significant, right? Now, we do 18 billion logins a day. And so when I say that we see, you know, sometimes 300 to 400 million attacks in a day, which is not uncommon for us, that's a pretty average number, then, you know, it's not a huge percentage of the traffic, but it's a significant amount. And so we see a lot of movement in the black market on these things. So I'll go into each of these attacks in turn. But passwords are a problem, right? We're going to go see other sessions about how we're getting rid of them. All right, so let's talk about breach replay for a minute. Breach replay just bases itself on this, is that passwords are hard to remember. So most users have 3 or 4, and they use them across 30 or 40 sites, right? And so, and by the way, that's true for people in the room too, I'm quite sure, right? And so it's just the nature of these things, right? So it doesn't matter how good your password is. It doesn't matter how entropic or how big your key space is if you're going to go use it on a site that has bad data at rest policies, right? And there's lots of examples of this happening. If you have a small business and that's using like MySQL to store passwords in plain text, the fact that we're doing SHA-256 and SALT and 1,000 iterations and doesn't help you anymore because you've essentially put that password in storage in a way that anybody can read it, right? What happens next is people come along and scrape up those sites because using LAMPS as an example, LAMPS is a well-known stack, so there are well-known attacks against it. So if I'm using a hosted environment and I'm, you know, or setting up something like any one of, I don't want to name any brands, but any one of the sort of website hosting brands, right? They have known attacks, and it's pretty easy to get in. So I can go through and I scrape up all these credentials, or I wait for a Yahoo breach, or a Anthem breach, or a, you know, pick the breach of the day. And these come out in tens of millions, right? Hundreds of millions of accounts at a time. So the volumes are super high. And then as an attacker, I don't have to be very smart, right? Because as an attacker, I can just go through here and say, all right, look, you know, let me get a tool off the web. And Yunan mentioned this, right? Our adversaries are using advanced techniques, not because they are advanced people, but because they are people who have $50 in Bitcoin to spend, right? And these tools, it's hilarious. Like we do, you know, research on this stuff, and you'll get phone support on some of these tools. They have VoIP numbers that you can call and say, hey, how do I configure this? You know, it's pretty remarkable. So it's an industry. And, you know, the volumes that these kinds of things generate are significant, right? And they generate them not necessarily from one IP, although IP signal is valuable to us. But they'll push into botnets, and we'll see, a single attack might come from 10,000 IPs. And we'll typically shut down around 10,000 IPs a day for attacking behavior. So we shut them down for a couple of hours. People often ask us, can I have the list? And the answer is generally no. And the reason is that the attackers move on to a good person's IP address, do the attack in a couple of hours, and move off. By the time we can signal you, it's not a bad IP anymore, for the most part. There are some persistently bad IPs, and we share those. All right, so now I've got breach. Breach is pretty good at getting me sort of luck of the draw stuff, and it's easy to run the attacks. Another thing we can do is password spray, and this is actually a customer that had this exact pattern happen. They had a customer or user show up on a breach list. Then that user was used, they attached Outlook 2016, got the entire address book for the organization, and then threw that into a list, right? So these lists of usernames by themselves are valuable. If you have a company directory, it's super valuable. If I can get one person's email address, I can see who they send mail to. It's valuable. So these lists of valid usernames, by the way, very often when it's like, hey, you get a spam mail that just simply says opt out, right? It's just validating your email, right? So sometimes you have to be thoughtful about, any response is a bad response, right? So you get the email address, which acts as a sign-in address, and then you pick something super common, right? So if you're in Boston and you're a baseball, company, right? We can pick something like this. That's a very targeted view. The things that we actually see in terms of attacks, that the bad guys are actually doing at scale are on the right. An attack like this one on the right, where you iterate through 15, 20 passwords, and then they know what our rules are up to a point, so they won't do the super simple ones. But you can get 1%. So if you have 100 people in your organization, you're looking at like a 1% penetration rate. If somebody's doing something targeted and thoughtful, like they know that you make widgets, they might put widget 2018, and they know you expire your passwords every quarter, so we'll say widget spring 2018, and you get a nice, you're giving them the rules they need to follow, so you reduce entropy by adding rules. And just emphatically, there's a paper we have on this. I'd love to encourage you to read it. It just says password guidance, so aka.ms password guidance. And I'd say, just take the rules off. You need a checker that says, and by the way, anybody who's using Azure Active Directory, you've already got it, right? And what we do is we look at the incoming attacks, and we put these on a ban list, and then we do any permutation of that word is also banned. And we can talk about the algorithms later. There's been talks already about it at this session, or at this conference. All right, so password spray looks like this. This is kind of a fun graphic. This is what it looks like on our end. Now, if this password spray were involving your organization, this is only about 6,000 requests an hour, so it's not a huge volume, right, on this attack. And it's, and your organization might have one account in there, right? So we're looking at this as across many organizations. But the password, the blue hill, the first mound, that's one single password, and that's failed passwords. So what we're logging here is we're logging individual passwords that are failing, right? And when it spikes up like that, normally this thing would look flat, right? There's a huge diversity of them, and so there's no big, mountains. So the mountains like this are an attack in progress. That's a password spray attack in progress. And you're seeing the attacker go through, password 123, and then capital P password 123, and then I love you, and then QWERTY, and they're just going through these things. And again, using 8 or 10 passwords, you can get 1% of the accounts. All right, so let me go into phishing. And we all know this is awesome, that it doesn't really matter what the URL it comes from or what the mail says, as long as it says there's something interesting if you log in, right? And then your user will pretty reliably log in. This is a really fun and stupid, phishing attack, right? It doesn't come from our domain. The whole thing is obviously phish. And in one like this, you'll still see something like 15% penetration. People are super curious. They go to a page this follows them to a page like this, and it doesn't look really anything like the current login screen. That's okay. I'm still curious. I'm going to log in, and I'm going to give you the password. Right? We should be clear that the only time password rules matter, by the way, is on password spray. Right? Everything else, your user is giving away the password, so it doesn't really matter how complex it is. And then behind that page is something like this. It's a PHP file. And again, the thing to notice on this is about halfway down the screen, it says, change your email here. That's another tool that was downloaded off the web. Right? There's no genius in the attackers. It's just a job. And for phish, really our best tool is our anomaly detection, right? So you can see the risky sign-ins here, in May running kind of around 300,000 a day. And that's basically things that there's enough of a difference between the way the user normally behaves and what they're doing here that we can worry that it might be phish. Now, so hopefully that convinced you that it's going to happen. It's trivially easy for users' passwords to get out in your organization. If you have more than 100 people in your organization, you have a breach somewhere. You have some leaked credentials. If you are using Azure Active Directory, there's a report called leaked credentials. If you're using, if you're EMS E3, P1, whatever, on up, and a lot of people said they were using conditional access, so that's all of you, right? Please look at the reports. Super important. Now I have your credentials. What do I do next?
Okay, thank you, Alex. And we talked about cloud app security that can see through the session itself. So exactly once I compromise an account, then I have certain privileges and I'm going to use them in order to pursue my targets. And this is where we stay in the cloud, and I want actually to have a deep dive, and many of you from the hands earlier I saw are not familiar with cloud app security, so I'll take a deeper dive. Cloud app security is a product that allows you to monitor sessions of cloud applications by either connecting it through a proxy or an API connectivity. So it's a very simple deployment that allows you to have full visibility into what's happening after that login that we talked about. If it's a compromised one, it's a super valuable data, and this is a type of customer investigation we keep seeing. So this user was compromised. What happened? Well, you've got cloud app security to give you exactly the details of what the attacker did. Now, let's separate the types of detections that we can give you in cloud app security for an attack. The first one is continuing the same indicators that Alex mentioned that we perform on the risky logins across the session. So on every transaction, you can still see that. A very important thing to remember, that cloud app security does it cross applications. So if you have a session, let's say in SharePoint, that is benign, but in parallel you have an AWS account that was compromised and was used by an attacker, we can use this cross correlation between the apps in order to baseline the user, because we know the user is a person. We know how to baseline, and we can cross correlate this transaction. So it's not only the login, we can see the entire session and cross correlate it across the apps. Now, we take things like suspicious IP addresses, anonymous IP addresses, weird user agents that are not typical, and so on. And this is on the meta level of the session. The next thing that we actually do, we are looking into specific activities within the session that we develop for them indicators of compromise. So while looking at the spectrum of the Microsoft customers, we develop some very good instincts and detections to tell you when a certain action that is usually benign doesn't look so normal now, and is probably an indication of a compromise. And this is where you get different detections. For instance, on threat delivery, so we can identify malware that is being planted in different storage accounts and alert you about that. We can identify a malicious OAuth application that was installed by the attacker on the account that was compromised in order to persist with access. In addition, as Alex mentioned, we have added a detection to identify suspicious inbox rules, which is a very common technique we see attacker doing on compromised mailboxes. No malware whatsoever, they can just get a hold of an account, a mailbox, use it in order to move laterally, and then they install inbox rules that allow them to remain undetected. We'll get a deep dive on this in a second. The next type of detections is on what we call malicious use of an end user privileges. So I'm an end user, I upload file, I delete file, I edit files. These are all benign actions. But if it's coming in mass, if it is unusual, then we know to identify these indicators and alert you that something fishy happened. So mass download suddenly becomes exfiltration of data. Mass share might be exfiltration of data through sharing with an unwanted party. And ransomware activities, this is the same way we detect it. It's just edit and upload of files, but we know that there are some indicators that we trigger and we say, hey, this is ransomware. It's not a user activity. And now the last phase is where we have a special place in our heart for privileged users. If they were compromised, then we monitor every single admin activity that was done on their behalf, and we baseline on a per user. So is this user typically doing these administrative actions? is this impersonation activity is benign? Is it normal for this admin to impersonate to one user? Well, maybe. Is it normal to impersonate to 100 users? This looks suspicious, and we trigger you alerts about this type of stuff. One detection that we did mention is a suspicious mailbox rule. This is where we can identify that a forward rule was established to a not so valid account. I mean, not a really account that we think that belongs to the same user. So out of all the email mailbox rules, we actually developed these indicators that allowed us to distinguish the suspicious rules that we want to tell you, hey, this looks like a good indicator of compromise. You should go and look at that account. Even if it was compromised, this is a very early stage of the campaign that allows you to go and remediate it really early on and not wait until they continue and send phishing emails across your network, and the attacker and the original user cannot see that because there is a forwarding rule that is also deleting the emails that were sent. Hey, why are you sending me these emails? Well, guess what? The original user will not see that because their attacker already deleted it using the rules. So this is very interesting. And another detection that is kind of unique, and I think I like to present it because it has two morals. One, what we're doing here, and you can see that this is an activity by a terminated employee. So we all have Azure AD and we provision users, and then an employee leaves the organization and we deprovision it, right? So everything is benign, the user cannot log in. However, in cloud applications, what we're seeing many times that not all of the applications are managed using the same identity management solution. They are not onboarded to Azure AD, and then what happens? We have all of these shadow accounts of users that have left the company, but the accounts are still there. So this Richard has an account on Azure AD that is deprovisioned, an account on AWS that is still provisioned and active. We cross-correlate it. You remember we said that Security actually can cross-correlate the signal between the applications, and as soon as there is an activity on AWS, we are saying, hey, this is wrong. This should not be this, and we alert you to to take action on this account, even if it is not managed in Azure AD because it was deprovisioned. Two morals here. One, onboard all of the applications you can to Security. Two, onboard all of the applications you can into Azure AD so you can have one single identity management solution across all of your applications, first and third party. So not only every application you actually use. Now, switching, and we said again, attackers don't differentiate between the cloud and the on-premises. Many times they want to get into the on-premises in order to get to the crown jewels, to get domain dominance, all of this goodness for attackers. This is a really, this is a happy land for attackers. So we have Azure ATP. It's a very simple sensor that you actually can deploy on your Active Directory, and then we get visibility into the different steps of the attacks that we talked earlier. Starting with reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is how an attacker can really easily get a lot of data just by being in your network, just by having one identity in your network, and have full visibility into how does your network look like. So it is done by two primarily methods. One, really doing like queries against your Active Directory and gathering lists of users, groups membership details, and so on. And the other way is actually creating a network map by harvesting your DNS. So these are two very common detections that we have and help you see an attack as it is being actually formed before it has taken an action. So this is a really interesting way to have early indicators of an attack. Then the compromised credentials, again, on premises, again, attackers are using brute forcing, same techniques that Alex showed you. And we can obviously detect, and two new alerts that we added recently that allows us to understand that an account might be compromised as well is with Azure Information Protection. How many of you are using Azure Information Protection? Great. So by using Azure Information Protection, one of the big benefits you get is an audit trail on who accessed which file and so on. You have an authentication to the file. So once you have data that is protected by Azure Information Protection, in Azure ATP, we can baseline the behavior of the users on accessing the protected data, the sensitive data. And we can alert to you when there is a new unusual behavior by accessing this sensitive data, and this is a very good way to know if there is an attacker that is poking on sensitive data and trying to access it. Next, we have suspicious VPN connection. We'll get to there later. And then lateral movement. Lateral movement, 3 very common techniques: pass the ticket, pass the hash, and overpass the hash. How many of you are familiar with pass the ticket, let's say? Okay, cool. So we'll have a quick overview for those of you who do not. This is a very easy way to get the token that Alex mentioned earlier, like the Carnival ticket, and then you can go to anywhere. And lastly, domain dominance, a bunch of techniques that allows attackers to gain dominance. These are the alerts that should trigger you the most quickly. This means that the attacker are already pawning you, okay? So this is where you want to get this, and this is like the worst case scenario, and this is where you obviously want to take an action. So VPN activity, we added this detection. It is achieved by integrating your detections into Azure ATP, into VPN activity into Azure ATP, and this shows you the very unique way of moving from the cloud into the on-premises using the VPN. So this is a very unique place that you really do want to monitor for detections, and this you can achieve now with Azure ATP. Pass the ticket, I will skip this, but I do want to say that this is a very common way to take a ticket that was granted to a user if you have a hold of a machine and then use it to impersonate to other resources. I really encourage you to learn more about the how, because it's interesting to understand how mechanisms that we do to make our users more productive are being actually abused by the users, by the attackers, and this is why you need more mechanism to detect where there is such not benign, malicious abuse of that. And I'll just show you the alert that you get with Pass the Ticket. You can see a user on a server like SharePoint, and we can identify using Azure ATP that the same ticket that was issued to SharePoint was actually moved into another machine, RDP SRV in this case, in order to access to resource by impersonating the original user. So these are the type of identity theft, the lateral movement that you want, detections that you want to respond to. Now, all of this goodness we've shown you in 3 different products, right? One was Azure ATP, the other was Microsoft Cloud App Security, and the third one is Azure AD. In the end, we were talking about the same person. So if it was my user, it is me that creating 3 alerts across these 3 products. And as security operations, you didn't need to go to each one of these portals in order to understand that someone compromised my account, my login, then did something suspicious in my mailbox, and then did something bad in the internal network by connecting through the VPN. 3 portals. What we did together with Alex's team is actually we worked on unifying this. And what we are very happy to show you today is how the new experience will be. This is an experience that will combine all of this signal to a single SecOps experience and will be built in the process that we talked about between the administrative team and the SecOps team in order to hand off the investigation back and forth and remediate. So this is exactly what we are really happy to demo to you today. This will be in public preview in the upcoming months. And I will let Alex kick off the demo.
With display switching technology. Let's see if we get it. Hey, look at that. All right, so it's funny. He says, what we decided we would do. Okay, here's what we did. We said, hey, we should get together and talk at Ignite and show off how cool our integration stuff is. So, hey, Dana and Eyal, would you guys go build that? And so the guys who actually put in, and the teams that put in the hard work, and Astrid, really are in the room, and we get the privilege of kind of showing off their great work. This is imminent. So if you're using Azure Active Directory Identity Protection or AAD now, what you're seeing here is about to be available to you in public preview. The things I would like to show you just quickly is that on the AAD IP side, we really look at this as, if we go back to the framework I was establishing at the beginning of the talk, right? You have an administrator's view, which is really about health policy, right? It's about how do you create and maintain a safe infrastructure for your organization to do work in. And then we have an investigator's view, which is really how do I get all the way down to the details of where did this attack hit, what were all the resources that were impacted and all the users, and then I want to loop that back into a recommendation, right? So, the view that we're taking in Azure Active Directory is really one of that health policy. How do we support that? How do we help you understand statistically what's happening in your organization, and then from that pattern, help you understand what are the things that we would say are best practices that you want to use, conditional access for, and that sort of thing. For now, I'm going to show you just a couple things, and then we're going to dive into the shared investigation view. So on the high-risk user side, right, we can see we have unprotected sign-ins, medium-risk users, and high-risk users. And as an admin, you're going to want to understand what's happening in the organization and maybe test for, is that a false positive or a true positive, that sort of thing. We have a set of users here that are showing up as at risk, and what that means is that we believe there's a significant indicator that their credentials have been compromised. Right, so generally that means their password has been used in a way that it gives us a strong indication, based on what I was saying before, that they're in the hands of an attacker. So here we have a view of Jeff Leatherman, which is this drawer view, and the things that you can see here are, risk history, risky sign-ins, and then non-session linked risk events. And what that means is something happened outside of a login that indicated to us that user was compromised. So this non-session linked risk event that we look at says that Jeff's credentials were leaked. So remember I talked about the breach attack. So this is sort of that view, right? That says, okay, this person was reusing their credentials on another site, and that site was breached, and now those credentials have been retried against us. If you are using, most folks here are in a hybrid deployment with Active Directory, just statistically, that's true. If you're doing pure Active Directory, pure managed, raise your hand. Oh yeah, all right, that's good, that's awesome. All right, everybody go that way. Anyway, so but in the meantime, if you're doing a hybrid deployment, then one of the things you can do is use password hash sync. And if you're not using password hash sync, again, I would be happy to spend however much time we need to after the talk to convince you that you should. Password hash sync is what allows us to do things like know during a password spray attack or during a breach replay attack that the credentials match, right? And I can explain to you cryptographically why it's not putting you in any danger to do it, but it gives you a huge safety benefit in terms of understanding which users are leaked. If you don't have password hash sync turned on, you're not going to see the leaked credentials. As you saw from the stats, from the breach replay stats, it's happening, and I've never had someone turn it on over about 10,000 users and not see hits, right? Where they find out that they have users who've been having their passwords traded on the black market. Okay, so if we dig in here, we can do your basic mitigations here. We could go reset this password, which I'm not doing because this is a shared environment. We're trying to do non-destructive demos. But it matters when there's 20 people here using the same environment. But one of the things we're going to look at is this magic link, which is investigate with Azure ATP. For those of you who've been using the two products together, you've known that it's impossible to get signal back and forth. And we're trying to make that super, super easy. And then we'll talk what's coming in a minute. But we'll let Yanon blame the Wi-Fi, blame the Wi-Fi, blame the Wi-Fi. Yanon sort of show off some of the work that we've done here. So.
Thank you. So what we actually did, as we said, we moved from Jeff Leatherman, who is a user. Just give me a second. So if you remember, Alex talked about Jeff Leatherman. A click from there would actually link you into the Azure ATP. And what we get now is the Azure ATP new page for Jeff Leatherman, the user. This page, the thing that is so cool, is not only Azure ATP signal. It actually includes all of the signal from the three products we mentioned and gives you a holistic view as SecOps on everything you need to know related to the security, to the incidents related to that specific user. So let's start actually with a new concept that we're introducing here. It's investigation priority. Investigation priority tells you how important it is for the SecOps to start investigating this user now. As a person, something is not benign with their account, okay, with their behavior in total across the three products. What do we put into the investigation priority? Three things. One, information about the user. So who is the user? Is it a C-level exec? Is it an IT admin? Is it someone without any privileges that nothing will happen if it was compromised? We know it's never true, but just giving you an example. So this is the first thing that we want to know, how important is, what's the impact of this user actually being compromised. The second input that we put into the investigation priority, obviously, are all the alerts that we collect. And you can see here in the example that we have 6 alerts. We will, in a second, go into a deep dive on them. But the alerts are coming from the different sources, so 2 from each product. And this is what allows you actually to see one holistic priority across all of these to investigate the identities that are most compromised. The third thing that we actually put into this investigation score are the activities. Okay, so activities that are suspicious, but not suspicious enough in order to trigger an alert, but they just they didn't look just right for us. So this is what we call low fidelity alerts, alerts that we never know how to surface it to our users. And what we did, we actually put it also as another input into this investigation score, so all aggregates to one investigations priority that allows you to know where to start from. In addition, we give you a summary of what are the most recent and what are the most common resources, devices, and location for that specific user. Looking at the alerts, so we start by seeing the 2 first alerts here. The 2 first alerts are actually the risky signing and the leaked credentials. These are the same alerts that Alex just showed you from the Azure AD. The next 2 alerts, and let's look into one alert just to give you the overview. So you can see that in the alert itself, you get everything that you need in order to investigate. So first, we invested a lot into telling you exactly what happened. So what happened? Why do we think this is suspicious? And second, what do we recommend you to do next? In addition, in the activity log, for those of you who are familiar with the products already, we also give you an activity log that is more oriented for the security operations. So what is risky exactly? What did we see? And the ability to pivot on the different entities. So beyond this, we also see on the right the insights on that specific user, IP address, and device that allows you to do all of these pivots and understand what is a baseline, what is normal, why do you think it is not normal. And this is what you get on every single alert in this dashboard. Now the next alert that we see here in the list is a suspicious inbox forwarding rule. We talked about it, so I won't go into this. But the next alert that I do want to show you is the alert that we actually built on the Azure Information Protection Signal. And this is a very cool alert. The alert shows you that there is an anomalous access to protected data, so sensitive data to your crown jewels. So we see here that there are 50 protected items where the usual is less than 4. Obviously, this is suspicious, and we give you also additional info that is important to know, like how many were successfully accessed out of these 55 and where from. So this is from Manila, that is not typical because the user is usually from the UK, and so on. So this is the alert that you get, again, and the recommendations and the insights. The next alert that we're seeing is a suspicious VPN connection. This is where the attacker actually moved from the cloud to the on-premises. So you're seeing here in the attack timeline a hybrid incident that crosses the cloud and the on-prem. So finally, no barriers. You can have one pane of glass in order to investigate both. It doesn't matter for the attacker. It shouldn't matter to you as SecOps. And this is exactly what we went ahead and did. The next alert that we're seeing is actually the reconnaissance. Just give me a second. Next alert that we're seeing is actually the reconnaissance. As I mentioned to you, the 2 most common reconnaissance actions are using directory services and DNS. In this case, it is a directory services alert. And what I want to show you here, really quickly, is how this alert looks like. So what we are seeing in the details is that the user, once compromised Jeff Leatherman and connected through the VPN to RDP SRV, we are seeing that the user was used in order to query the domain for Ron Harper and the help desk team. This is intriguing us because why would suddenly Jeff Leatherman start inquiring about Ron Harper? So we can easily pivot into the Ron Harper page. Under Ron Harper, we see again the same investigation panel, but now it has another set of alerts. In this case, it is identity theft using pass the ticket attack. And those of you who followed the attack pattern can know what to expect now. When we go into this specific alert, we can easily see that Ron Harper's identity, the ticket, was actually used to impersonate from RDP SRV and Finance SRV, moved from RDP SRV to Finance SRV in order to access two new resources. So this is exactly the type of attacks that we talked about, starting from any account, connecting to through the VPN into the on-premises. There, we have plenty of tools in order to exploit other identities. Plus the ticket attack on Ron Harper, which is a help desk, probably has access to many, many, many other devices. This is why it was targeted. And then we continue with the lateral movement. With that, we go back into the Jeff Leatherman. Now we want to move into the response. We understood what happened, we understood the scope of the attack, and now we want to respond to it.
All right, so there's a bunch of cool and crazy stuff that just happened there, right? If you think about it from the perspective if you were an AAD IP user, you've been able to see that the credentials were leaked and that there were suspicious sign-ins, right? Those two things were available to you before, and if you're looking at it from just that lens, just that authentication ticket lens, that's as much as you get to know. And I think it's valuable, right? But this is a view where suddenly we've been able to go from, okay, I can tell the whole story, right? This guy's his credentials were leaked. He signed in from an anomalous location. They set up some forwarding rules. They punched through the VPN, and then they did a pass the ticket and stole another user. That second part is super interesting, right? That says that we have a signal that says a user has been compromised that is simply unavailable in the cloud. Right, and by passing that information back up, we can then mark that user as risky. So it's a very valuable, kind of round trip thing that we're doing here. The second thing that we like to do in a way that's sort of round trip is passing information back and forth from the SecOps team into the administration team. So as we go up here, we can navigate back in to Jeff. And over time, we're going to be doing more work in terms of ticketing integration. All of this stuff is supporting APIs already, so if you have a ticketing system or a SIEM system, this is all data you can import. But as we go back in here, if we wanted to, we can look at Jeff and just go ahead and reset his password now, or do more investigation on that end. The thing I'd like to show you now is actually something a little bit different, which is we go back to that security overview page. Again, from the perspective of health policy, if you think about like zero trust networks or identity as the control plane or any other stuff that we're doing, conditional access is sort of our toolkit, our policy toolkit for helping you to secure your organization, right? To set up the rules that make it harder for attackers to penetrate. If you are, not yet using MFA for admins in your organization or privileged users, please start, right? These are the sorts of things that we have an investigations team on my team that handles incidents for our customers. And it's amazing that almost every single incident we deal with, if people had followed guidance, we would actually have been able to see that attack not get through. There are going to be attackers who are super sophisticated and are going to be very determined, and advanced persistent threats exist. But for the most part, these are attacks of opportunity. They're scanning large amounts of accounts and seeing what they can get into. And so there's easy ways to defeat that. This is the old joke that, like, you don't have to be the fastest person, you just have to be faster. If you're trying to run away from the bear, you don't have to be faster than the bear, you just have to be faster than the slowest person, right? Let the bear catch the slower guy behind you. So some of this basic hygiene stuff will really help you out. So with that, I want to show you some work that we've been doing to try to make that a lot easier. So as we look at sort of the health policy view, the main thing that we're trying to bring, this graphic is entertaining. It looks a little bit less insane if you bring it out a little bit longer window. If you look at the things that we can do, one of the big things we've been trying to do is to look at statistically what are the policies that work. Like if we think about the attacks that get through, what policy would have blocked that attack and still has low user friction, and then how can we help you get to a place where it's super easy to do that. Those policies are lots of different configuration elements. So if you're in the identity administration game, what we've done is we've consolidated. SecureScore has been around for a while, and we've had identity things in SecureScore for a while. But with Microsoft 365, with the security lens we're doing, we're breaking it up, again, by these infrastructure pillars so that your identity administrator can go through and say, what's my to-do list in my Azure Active Directory or directory environment, right? So the SecureScore is the way that we're trying to help move people to this more secure posture. And I think in the security keynote, Rob said, look, just go take the top thing off the list and do it, right? Well, the top thing off the list is protecting your privileged roles with multi-factor authentication. Now, Nitika did a presentation on SecureScore yesterday and was saying, guess what the rate at which administrators and privileged roles are protected by MFA in our user base today, like across the tenants. What percentage of tenants have their privileged roles under MFA? And whatever number you're guessing right now, guess lower. And then guess lower again, and then again, right? It's, and I will say it's so abysmal, we don't like to talk about it. So, but that's not like we're begging you, right? Please. One of the things that we're going to be doing is going forward for new tenants, when you get Azure Active Directory, it's just on. We're not going to let you have administrators without MFA. And so we're going to be more and more aggressive about this because so many bad attacks are starting that way. Is I figure out who your admin is, and then once I have your Exchange admin, or I have your AD admin role, or your whole Azure global admin, right? I kind of own you, right? I can create rules, I can create users, I can do all kinds of crazy stuff. So turning on MFA is a key thing. So Identity Secure Score is essentially a scorecard of how are you doing versus what we're seeing as the best possible security posture, right? And it gives you a to-do list that's prioritized and is hopefully easy to execute. So an example of doing that is from the Identity Secure Score view, the top thing is, oh look, enable MFA for Azure AD privileged roles. So here I am. So if I click on that, I get a quick description. People love the scores. What's really weird to me is people will cheat the scores. They'll say, "Oh, I did this," but they haven't done it, and it's like, I mean, it's just a number, dude. Like, so don't cheat, right? This is supposed to help you get more secure, not just get a bigger number on the screen. But what this does is it gives you a description of what you should do. Right? And then, again, privileged roles are a serious issue. User impact is low. We expect that admins know how to do MFA. Implementation cost is essentially zero. It tells you what you're enabling and then how it'll affect your users. And so all the secure score elements have this basic, taxonomy to them, right? They try to give you a very easy playbook to say, well, what do I need to do to get more secure so I'm not, one of those statistics that I'll show again next year and, don't be my story for next year, So, by the way, the story that I told around that sequence of breach replay, password spray, and phish, that was my 4th of July 2 years ago. I was sitting on the phone with those guys, helping them get back under control. So the other thing I would say is follow these rules and give my team some rest. So the getting started here will take you right into whatever you need to do to go do the thing. Right? So the second thing I'd like to talk about real quick is blame the Wi-Fi, blame the Wi-Fi, blame the Wi-Fi, is baseline policies. And so the second piece of work that goes right hand in hand with Secure Score is, can we get this stuff down to one click? And since conditional access, again, is our toolkit, we're creating a set of conditional access policies that don't look like normal conditional access policies. They're designed to be very, very locked in and very easy to implement. And so if we were to zoom in on this, right, again, it just repeats what you saw in the Secure Score, but all you get is turn it on, set a time to turn it on, and you can exempt some users. And it's super simple. So if you turn this on, please do, and it'll just automatically enroll all your privileged users into MFA, and as new privileged users come in, or they go out, whatever, the rules follow them around. So that's another important piece of work. We're working together, both within the threats that we see inside of Azure AD and then as Yanon's team, as we're integrating Signal across. Some of the stuff he didn't show you is that it also includes things like Defender Signal from, devices. We're bringing in Signal from AIP for like anomalous document uploads, opens. There's a set of things that we can bring in, and this canvas will get richer and richer over time. And then all of that will go back, and again, statistically, we can say, all right, we know what attacks are working, we know what policies defeat those attacks, and then we'll bring those back to you in this way. So this is designed to be super easy. Switching back to the presentation. Yeah, so this is the Secure Score pitch. Essentially, most of our user compromises are preventable. It's just a matter of turning on the rules. Baseline protection is designed to do that. We're going to be bringing out soon a baseline protection for users, which will allow you to do MFA registration and some of the best practices for users, as well as turning off legacy auth, which is a problem set of protocols like XML auth and Forms Basic and POP and things like that that are associated heavily with attacks. And then we talked about secure score, so just summing up the things we saw. And so let me talk about the third pillar here. So we're giving it to you in terms of secure score, we're giving it to you in terms of baseline policies, and then the last piece in terms of making this much, much easier for you is just documentation. So we did a bunch of studies here, and again, this is what feeds the secure score. If you turn on MFA, you're going to defeat 99.99% of the attacks that people hit. I mean, it's by the way, Maria is the data scientist who pulled this number, and I went back, I was like, really? Is that really the number? And it's actually really the number. So sometimes it's just convenient, it lines up. This was 99.99%. So what, literally 1/1000th of the compromises in your org if you just turn on MFA for your user base. Everybody's doing MFA for Twitter and Google and Xbox and whatever, like they're used to it. So I think this is one of those things where we just have to accept that passwords aren't good enough and the friction is acceptable for MFA. Turning off basic auth, turning off legacy auth, reduces compromise by 66%. People who use Azure Active Directory identity protection, like challenge on risk, those policies reduce compromise by 96%. So really significant improvements. If you want to see the number 101 come down shorter and shorter, as I do, then please look at the reports. So often we get the thing from the customer that's like, why didn't you tell us? And we go back and show them the logs, and it's like, well, we told you on this date, and this date, and this date, and then we called you, and and so it's important that you're paying attention to the signals that you're getting. And then finally, I would encourage you to use self-help wherever available. A good example is self-service password reset. And I'll tell you, sort of tales from the crypt story. When I was doing security for Xbox, we we tracked 60% of our user compromises to our tier 1 support. 60%. And the reason was that you take a group of people and you pay them and incent them based on customer satisfaction and speed of resolution, and watch what happens. Right? The hackers call in, they act dissatisfied and impatient, right? And then people will suddenly do whatever they have to do to keep their numbers up, right? And so if your job is customer satisfaction and your customer is the hacker, right, then it's easy to do a little crying, a little screaming, and get your way. And there's really good playbooks for how to break support centers. So what we encourage you to do is, wherever possible, codify your policies, especially for things like password reset, into self-help tools, and then eliminate that tier 1, right? And that's exactly what we did. We actually took all that power away from tier 1. And the results were staggering in terms of both cost reduction, but also increased security and actually happier users. So things like just register for MFA, and then if you forget your password, you use your MFA to recover or whatever. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention, boy, we're working really, really hard to get away from passwords altogether, and please join us on the journey. All of this is codified in a paper called Security Steps. We're going to keep this paper updated along with the secure score and the policies, right? So those three things will work together. They'll be the three legs of the stool. So any one of those tools should help you move your identity posture to a more secure place and reduce the volume of attacks that we're getting. If you do get an attack, and nobody's perfect, and so there will be attacks that get through, then that's when your investigations and forensics tools kick in, and we'll continue to make that environment richer as well. So there'll be a lot of exciting stuff coming out over the next year. I will pass it back to Yanon one more time for a little bit more advice.
Yeah, so we talked about the Azure AD identity protection and the policies. Next step, to gain all the visibility you need for the Active Directory and the Cloud App Security sessions. Then please go deploy Azure ATP, deploy Cloud App Security. Very simple steps, signing into each of these portals. Do the steps, deploy the AD sensor for Azure ATP, and connect your cloud applications to Cloud App Security. These are literally 10-minute steps that you need to take in order to monitor the out-of-the-box alerts that these products actually produce to you. more advanced steps. You can extend your visibility by integrating VPN logs into Azure ATP, performing shadow IT discovery in Cloud App Security, and I do encourage you to go and see the other sessions on these topics in order to get a deeper dive on these two products. But again, the basic deployment there is so easy that you should just go and do that and enjoy the signal and have a uniform view, a complete view, end-to-end of what do attackers actually do when they get a compromised account. This is super invaluable data that you need if you actually got compromised.
All right, so
summing up.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes, so we'll go ahead and move to questions. But before we do, just real quick, there's a bunch of other really good sessions going on here. Caleb Baker is going to be doing a session on conditional access, which I'd recommend hitting at noon. There's other sessions that Dana will be doing and other folks. So just keep an eye out for anything that says identity or ATP or MCAS in it. And then finally, thank you very much. And we have about 4 minutes for questions, but thank you guys very much for your time and attention today. So.
Thank you. You want to take questions from here?
If you have questions, please come to the mics. And we'll just go, I think. Sure.
Thank you. Hello. Heikki Auhinen from Tieto Finland. How about the ATA, Advanced Threat Analytics?
Yeah.
Is there any hope with that?
There is hope, of course. This is a product that we continue to support. The main difference is that with ATA, the signal doesn't get to our cloud, so we cannot do this cross-correlation. So one of the biggest benefits of Azure AT moving to Azure ATP is, one, we run it to you as a service, so you don't need to do anything besides deploying the sensor. And the other thing is the cross-correlation that we've just seen. But ATA continues to deliver this security value, but on your own premises as a silo.
Got it, thanks.
Okay,
Hey, on the custom control, on MFA for the secure score for admins, privileged roles, will that honor custom controls that are used for MFA, like Duo, where you're using the JSON command through the custom controls?
So we're not yet doing that in the secure score. So like the way that they're in the secure score, there's a way you can say, I'm doing this another way.
Okay.
And that's the non-cheating way to get your score up without using the actual thing, right? Some people say I'm doing it another way without actually doing it, but like in your case, if you're using Duo, you just say I'm doing it another way and it would come off the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This goes back to what you said about using password hash sync. Why that over password pass-through with, say, seamless single sign-on?
Just because statistically more people are doing ADFS. But if you're using PTA, that's groovy, pass-through hash, or pass-through authentication. Yeah, that's great. But we still wanted to see that synchronization coming up for the cloud check. Because we're not checking directly against your AD server, right?
So you recommend doing that with password sync anyway?
Yeah, you don't want us, given the volumes we're doing, you don't want us doing the test against your domain controller, right?
Okay.
So yeah, you still need it in that case, because if you're going to do the test, we have to do it in the cloud.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, we're going to just round robin here.
Yeah, my question is about logging for PowerShell login, successful logins and failed logins for PowerShell. Is that logged somewhere?
So if you have a PowerShell login as
as a user, you can log in to your mailbox using PowerShell, right?
Right. The login would show up, and PowerShell would be the agent in that case.
Yeah.
So that's in the logs. You're asking whether we have a risk signal specifically for that?
Well, my question actually, we haven't seen those logs. I mean, we haven't seen successful or failed logons for if someone uses PowerShell. I'm just asking, is that being logged?
Why don't we? I want to understand the case more carefully. So I'll give you a card here, and if you just come up, and we'll follow up on that one. I'd like to understand what's missing in the log in that case. So I'm not familiar with an issue there, so I'd like to follow up. Sir.
Yeah, regarding ATP and everything you do in here with the new console and everything, I'm wondering, though, what the license level required is, like for EMS or Office 365. Is it E3 or E5? Or? Yeah,
so Azure ATP is in the EMS E5, along with Azure AD Identity Protection and Cloud App Security. Okay. So it's EMS E5 value prop, but it's part of Azure ATP specifically.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, over here? Or, I don't know if we're doing it on round robin or on time basis.
Yeah, hi. So a lot of new features and exciting things coming up. How do these apply to GovCloud? I know that's usually like one step behind.
So, GovCloud. You are in GovCloud, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I think I don't know of anything that's delayed in this set for GovCloud. There sometimes you're right. There have been sometimes things are lagging. I don't think we have any delays in this
In
set
Azure
for
AD.
GovCloud. And then ATP and MCAS are both deployed in a different way.
Yeah, so Azure ATP and MCAS are on the way to GovCloud, so we are working on it. I don't have an exact ETA, but I can tell you that this is in progress.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a lot of clients who want to exclude trusted locations for MFA. Do you advise against that?
Exclude trusted locations for MFA. I think I don't think that's terrible. The thing that we have to realize is that MFA is often you're just doing it once per device, right? In practice. So it's not necessarily the case that it's bad to have it happen on a trusted location too. And so generally a wider umbrella can be better. But the thing that, as long as you have a risk policy that's sitting underneath that, because sometimes people can be on your trusted network but still have anomalies, right? Things can still be wrong. And so we'd like you to have an umbrella of a risk policy underneath that if you're going to do that. If you're going to do the exclusion, then just have a risk policy that catches any anomalies that happen. Okay.
Yeah. On the secure score recommendations, can it be changed so that you can see which recommendations require a subscription upgrade?
I think so. There's some lots of stuff is in like with secure score. We're still iterating, right, as we get customer feedback. One of the things we're trying not to do is to try to use it as a sales device. Okay. And so the idea is that your secure score, your cap is based on your current licensure. So the recommendations you're going to get are be within your license. And then there'll be another view above that which says that, okay, you can go higher, but these are the things you'd have to change license-wise.
Okay.
So we're trying to make that transparent.
Okay. At the moment, it's giving me recommendations for stuff that requires several subscription upgrades. That's why I'm asking. Okay. So we haven't, that whole crank hasn't turned completely yet, but the plan is to try to keep it so that we're very clear about what's in and what you can do right now versus what you would need to increase your license for. Thanks.
All right. I trust you guys to know who's next. I think you're the one at the mic, so.
Okay. We have a G3, and it has ATP attached to it currently. We have purchased EMS. What are we missing to get the full features?
Well, you have EMS E5?
No, it'll be E3.
So you have EMS E3 and HEP?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're missing Azure AD Identity Protection and Cloud App Security. These are both in the EMS E5 bundle.
Okay, is that included in the threat intelligence?
You're gonna see signal from Azure AD IP on your E3 license. The full signal, the full fidelity of that signal is reserved for E5. So we won't not tell you that a sign-in was risky. We're going to tell you that the sign-in was risky, or we'll tell you that the user's at risk. If you want to know all the gnarly details about exactly why, that's E5.
And the risk policies.
Yeah. And the risk-based policies for CA are also E5. Yeah. So we're out of time, so we need to clear the stage, but I'll be happy to take more questions down front or discuss.